Alright guys, Forsaken has just officially announced a brand new update coming very soon. And this one is shaping up to be one of the bigger updates we've seen recently. Let's get into it! The developers revealed that the next major update will be Chapter 3, Beauty in Treachery, and along with that announcement, they also posted a new roadmap showcase on their YouTube channel, giving us a much clearer idea of what content is coming next and when we can expect to see it. Since this update is mainly focused around the long-awaited Jane Doe release, the roadmap folder gives us a breakdown of several sneak peeks and updates that will lead up to that moment. Looking at the first image in the roadmap, we can see another sneak peek that appears to be related to Slasher, which is scheduled to release on March 13th. While we don't have full details yet about what this sneak peek will include, it might just be another Friday the 13th Slasher buff update, since it is Friday the 13th. However, we could also get something related to the lore. Then, just a few days later, we'll be seeing another sneak peek, this time related to John Doe, which is scheduled for March 17th. This is particularly interesting because John Doe and Jane Doe are closely connected within the game's story and lore. Because of that connection, it wouldn't be surprising if the developers decide to reveal something important about John Doe right before Jane Doe officially releases. Speaking of that release, the roadmap confirms that Jane Doe will finally be arriving on March 18th. This is a big moment for the game since Jane Doe has been teased and discussed for quite a while now. With her release happening on that date, there's also a possibility that John Doe could receive additional buffs or adjustments around the same time. However, the developers might also choose to push those changes slightly earlier so that the spotlight on March 18th remains focused entirely on Jane Doe herself. After the Jane Doe update arrives, the roadmap also hints at another upcoming sneak peek, this time for Azure. At the moment, there isn't a confirmed release date shown for this reveal, which likely means the developers are still deciding exactly when they want to show it off. However, based on the artwork included in the roadmap folder, it's clear that Azure is planned to appear sometime after the Jane Doe update goes live. So even after Jane Doe releases, there will still be more content waiting to be revealed. There are also a couple of other mysterious images included in the roadmap that haven't been fully explained yet. One of them shows a figure on a completely white background, and it's honestly difficult to tell exactly what's happening in that image. It could potentially be a teaser for a new character, an upcoming redesign, or even something connected to the game's story. The final image in the roadmap is also very interesting. It shows a small figure standing near the bottom of the image while the environment around them appears to be cracking or breaking apart. Because of the visual style of this teaser, many players are already speculating that it could be related to possibly hinting at a future update involving that character. Of course, it could also be teasing an entirely new killer or a much larger gameplay update that the developers are saving for later. It's clear that this chapter will bring multiple updates and sneak peeks throughout the month rather than just one single release. So overall, it looks like Forsaken has a lot planned in the coming weeks. This chapter is shaping up to be a pretty big step forward for the game. Because of that, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on the devlogs and sneak peeks, since there will likely be even more information revealed before Jane Doe officially arrives. Alongside all of the new content and sneak peeks that have been appearing recently, Forsaken has also released another set of balance changes that adjust several killers and fix a number of issues that players have been noticing. Some of these changes are small quality of life tweaks, while others slightly buff or improve certain characters to make them feel smoother during matches. Starting with Nosferatu, several parts of their kit have been adjusted to make his abilities flow a bit better during gameplay. His basic M1 attack cooldown has been reduced slightly, going from 2 seconds down to 1.85 seconds, which should allow Nosferatu players to attack a little more frequently during chases. Bloodhook has also received an improvement, as the hook now pulls survivors in around 15% faster than before, making it slightly more reliable when catching survivors trying to escape. In addition to this, the Ascension ability has had its cooldown reduced from 35 seconds down to 32 seconds, while the transformation sound effect is no longer global, meaning survivors across the entire map will no longer hear it activate. Cataclysm and Hunter's Feast were also adjusted, with Cataclysm's cooldown reduced from 25 seconds to 22 seconds, and Hunter's Feast dropping from 20 seconds to 16 seconds. Overall, these changes should make Nosferatu feel a bit more responsive and aggressive during matches. Another killer that received adjustments is 1X. Some of their previous nerfs have been partially reverted, making their abilities slightly stronger again without fully returning them to their previous power. Mass Infection's cooldown has been reduced from 18 seconds down to 15 seconds, while the pulse strength for Entanglement has been increased by around 7%. In addition, the speed boost gained from Mass Infection now always starts at a minimum of 10%, even when survivors are close by, and then scales up to 25% depending on the distance from the nearest survivor, reaching its maximum when they are about 40 studs away. This change should help 1X players maintain pressure while moving around the map. Chance has also received a small adjustment ability mechanics. The reroll range has been slightly changed and now rolls between 55 and 120 instead of the previous values. Additionally, when Chance's gun explodes due to a failed roll, it will now actually knock back the killer as well, adding a bit more impact to that mechanic. Alongside these balance tweaks, the update also includes several bug fixes that improve the overall stability of the game. Nosferatu should no longer glow outside bad form. Players should now properly receive rewards when winning as the killer, and the player reinfo interface has been fixed for mobile devices where it previously appeared to large. The player list interface has also been cleaned up so that blank player entries no longer appear, and the invite button now disappears correctly when the list is collapsed. One of the more important fixes is that rounds should no longer completely break servers if something goes wrong during the current match. There was also a fix for time where their levels were continuously being halved incorrectly. Finally, the lobby has also received a small update, with several characters from previous seasonal events returning to the lobby area once again. While these are mostly visual additions, they help bring back some of the NPCs that we haven't seen in a while, so go check on them. Overall, while these balance changes may not completely reshape the game, they should help improve gameplay consistency while making several killers feel smoother and more balanced moving forward. So Builderman is getting a redesign for his milestone skins. We now have images of the milestone for redesign, making him look more like an engineer. It still resembles his old Builderman skin, but this time it removes the hoodie and replaces it with an actual safety vest, which works perfectly for him. He also no longer carries random items on his back. This was previously leaked during the Slasher update before the shutdown, but now we have a clearer image of what the skin looked like. It's crazy how most of these skins were close to being completed before the shutdown. However, there has been some backlash, with people saying the image quality is trash and that Builderman is the most boring survivor in the game. Others criticize the skin for looking ugly, though that might just be due to the poor quality of the image. Groovy, the designer of the skin, has since said they will redo it and change some things, so hopefully we'll see a revamped version of it soon. So it's great to finally see Chapter 3 starting with the release of Jane Doe, especially with all of these balance changes preparing the game for this update. Are you excited for Chapter 3? Subscribe and hit the bell for more Forsakening It.